Hello everyone and welcome to this video going over all the changes in patch 4.5.0 in Dead by Daylight. And remember to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Let's start off with the elephant in the room, the completely reworked UI for the entire game. So now when you are in a game, you will see the generators remaining in the middle top part of your screen. You will see the survivors on the left part of your screen, and you will see blood point information or status effects on the right side of your screen. As for any add-ons or items you may have with you, that will be on the bottom left, and as always, your perks are on the bottom right. Killers have this new hook counter on the left side of the screen right under the survivors that tells them how many hooks they have throughout the entire game. And if you're a survivor, you will see these little ticks next to every survivor's name that indicates how many times they have been hooked. Whenever a survivor is injured, they get this weird slash through their profile here, and if they are broken, they will also have the slash mark on them. This new UI is drastically different than what we had before, where all the information was in one part of the screen in the bottom left, and then you had your perks on the bottom right. Personally, I think this spreads out the information too thin across the screen where you have to look everywhere to know what's happening. But let me know what you guys think of this new UI in the comments below. Players are given the option to scale the UI to their liking. However, you cannot scale it bigger than it already is. This is the 100%. UI, you can only scale it downwards, which is unfortunate because I feel like some of these UI elements are a little too small. Hopefully, they do make adjustments in the near future. Now let's move on to the other changes in this patch. They have visually updated the Gideon Meat Plant and Asylum maps, just doing their usual graphics overhaul on here where they make it look nicer and add breakable walls and all that good stuff. The next big change in this patch is the survivor movement animations. They have completely updated all these survivor animations to try and look like they transition more smoothly between, say, crouching and standing or walking and running and all that stuff. But it has also affected survivor movement slightly where you can't move in all the same ways you used to be able to. Let me know if this change has affected your survivor movements at all. And I also want to add that some of these survivor animations can look kind of weird, especially when you're standing still and trying to decide whether to go left and right. Your character just stands up straight. Looks very odd if you ask me. Now for the final huge change in this patch is the clown has been reworked. He now has two types of bottles, a tonic and an antidote. You can tap your secondary power button to switch between the tonic and antidote, and as always, hold the secondary power to reload your bottles. They have reduced his reload time to 3 seconds instead of the 5 seconds it used to be, so he can get back into the game quicker. Now, what are these antidote bottles, you ask? Well, these bottles release a gray cloud that activates and turns yellow after 2.5 seconds. The antidote clouds will last a total of 7.5 seconds on the ground, and they are slightly smaller than the tonic clouds, which are purple. Overlapping antidote and tonic clouds will cause both of them to disappear. Now, if the survivor or the clown is hit with the antidote cloud, they gain the invigorated status effect, which is a new one. And what this does is it grants whoever's affected 10% movement speed for 5 seconds. This creates a lot more complexities with the killer power of the clown because the antidote and the tonic bottles work together in different ways. Say the clown hits a survivor with his tonic cloud. Well, if this intoxicated survivor then touches a yellow antidote cloud, they will no longer be intoxicated, and they also get that movement speed bonus. The tonic cloud will remain unchanged though if an intoxicated survivor touches an antidote cloud. If you're wondering about the tonic, this hasn't been changed at all. It still throws down a purple cloud, and if a survivor is in it, they become intoxicated where their screen gets all blurry and they get the hindered status effect on them, slowing them down a bit. As for the Clown's add-ons, they have adjusted them a bit. Due to all these adjustments to the Clown's power, he of course has had his add-ons adjusted as well. Now, not all of them have been changed. Some of them are still the same as they were before, such as Redhead's pinky finger, so I'll just go over the ones that they mention in the patch notes. There is a new add-on called the Party Bottle that used to be the Ether 5 volume %, and what it does is thrown bottles emit confetti when shattering. This add-on doesn't really do anything, it's just a added effect for fun, I guess. The fingerless parade gloves now allow you to throw bottles in a unique arc that doesn't go as high, but it can go much further, just giving you added distance to your clown throws. The smelly inner soles give the clown greater movement speed when he is reloading his bottles, and is now a rare add-on. The solvent jug will now moderately increase the invigorated effect duration. The thick cork stopper decreases the clown's reload time. The Spirit of Hartshorn is a new add-on that used to be the Ether 10 volume %, and what it does is moderately expand the antidote cloud area. The VHS tape swaps the yellow and purple color of the antidote and tonic effects, and is now a common add-on. Next is the cigar box. It says when any player becomes invigorated, they see all other players' auras within a 16-meter radius. The Garish makeup kit considerably increases invigorated effect duration. And Tattoo's middle finger says auras of intoxicated or invigorated survivors are revealed to you for 6 seconds. And as with other killer reworks, the clown now has his own terror radius and chase music to make him more unique than your standard killer. Let me know what you guys think of all these clown adjustments to try and make him more viable in Dead by Daylight. I think it is a unique spin on his power, but it remains to be seen if it will make him any more deadly. Now, while the clown got this big rework, some other killers got very slight adjustments that will affect how they play in the game. The Wraith is now completely invisible to survivors when more than 20 meters away, and this is huge because, well, before you could always kind of see where the Wraith was, even when cloaked, as long as you looked for the shimmer. So this will make Wraith a lot more stealthy than he was before. However, to make up for this, they have increased the duration of the Wraith's uncloak speed to be 1.25 seconds instead of 1 second. And the other killer that got a bit of adjustments is the Trapper. They have made it so that escaping a bear trap now has a 1 in 6 chance of succeeding on each attempt, but is capped at a maximum of 6 attempts. So no more getting super unlucky and having like 10 plus attempts and you're still trapped. You will now be guaranteed to get out. Along with this change, they have updated all the Trapper add-ons that reduce the chance of escape for survivors. So the Trapper can run any add-on that reduces the chance of escaping a bear trap to increase the maximum number of attempts, as well as reducing the chance per attempt. So if you're unable to get out of a bear trap after 6 attempts, then the Trapper probably has extra add-ons on to keep you in there. There is one change I think they did that's not mentioned in the patch notes, and I've only done a few games of testing, so I don't know 100%, but I think if you have every single survivor that's in the game on a hook, they are all instantly sacrificed to the entity, ending the game much faster so you don't have to wait through all the struggle phase nonsense. I think all the survivors must be on their second hook though for this to trigger. Let me know if you have experienced this in your games at all. There's everything about all the killers being adjusted. Now let's see what perk overhauls they're doing in patch 4.5. The biggest perk change in this patch is going to be Hex Undying. They have significantly nerfed this perk because now Hex Undying will only activate one time during a trial. While Hex Undying is active, survivors within 2, 3, or 4 meters of any dull totem have their aura revealed. When another Hex totem is cleansed, that totem's Hex transfers to the Hex Undying totem, deactivating Hex Undying. Any tokens the transferred Hex had are transferred as well. So you can see this as a kind of nerf buff, because before tokens didn't transfer over, but now they will. This change will decrease the viability of Hex Undying, because if the survivors get lucky and cleanse your Hex Undying first, well, you will get no use of it whatsoever, and now you cannot have Hex Undying reviving multiple Hex perks at the same time. Now this was not the only perk that was changed. They have also updated a few other perks to make them work a bit better. They have made it so Fixated now works while you are injured, so you can always see those scratch marks. Iron Maiden effect will last 30 seconds, so you have a bit of extra time on the exposed effect to try and capitalize on the survivor jumping out of the locker. Second Wind has had its duration now increased to 28, 24, or 20 seconds. And Diversion now charges in 40, 35, or 30 seconds, and the distance you can throw it is 20 meters at all tiers. Now for the final set of changes which were made to some status effects, and these are big changes that will have an impact on the game. The Deep Wound effect will always have a 20-second timer now. Because of this, Frank's Mixtape and Stab Wounds Study have been adjusted to have the same proportional impact on survivor Deep Wound timers. To go along with this, Borrow times tier adjustments are now the duration of the Endurance status effect at 10, 12, and 15 seconds. And Deep Wound is no longer mentioned at all in Borrow time's description, so just know if you are hit when you have the Endurance status effect, you'll get a 20-second Deep Wound timer. The next status effect to get some adjustments is Mangled. Mangled will now always last until a survivor is fully healed. This means that there are no longer any time-based Mangled status effect. Every single one has been baseline made so that it lasts until the survivor is fully healed. Because Mangled is no longer a timer based at all, Vigil no longer affects Mangled because, well, you can't affect something that lasts indefinitely. Because of this Mangled change, the Huntress's Begrimed Head no longer has the repair speed debuff, and instead they have an added hemorrhage status effect, so that did get nerfed. And as for the Pig's Rusty Attachments, it will only apply Mangled to injured survivors, which does make sense because how can you be mangled if you're healthy? And those are all the big changes made in patch 4.5. All the other changes are just slight bug fixing, so if you want to see that, you can take a look at the patch notes. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let me know what you guys think of all these changes, if they're good or bad, do you like them or do you hate them? And remember to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, good luck out there in the fog, and see you next time.